My friends, welcome to Talk Casual. As always, I'm broadcasting live here at the Fly Casual Studios in the Outer Rim. As always, I'm your Grandmaster Assault, Ariel, Mars, the Mars Hole, whatever you want to call me. Welcome all to this special broadcast this morning here in Australia, but for you guys I presume it's in the evening or whenever you like to join us in the replay. I welcome you to this event and welcome me back to this live chat that I haven't done for a couple of months, several months I'd say. I've gone into exile, I've gone to Ahch-To and decided to contemplate my life in general, but we'll talk about that a little bit more further on. Let's get into the news, and lo and behold, the Armada Rule Set Collective, or ARC, have decided to make some changes to some points. Have done some points adjustments, so we're going to talk about that right now. So let's head to the points. Luckily, they actually brought out a little information packet on the Armada Rules Collective news page, done by Nick Larson. So I'll bring that up right now. So I'll transition now. So these aren't the droids we're looking for. So on my birthday, the 16th of December, they decided to make a couple of changes with some of the New Republic, the Civil War, the Galactic, not the Galactic Civil War, the Republic era, the Clone Wars era stuff. So here are some of the changes. So Kraken is now from 30 points down to 24 points. I won't go through the actual article itself, but I will discuss just the cliff notes on what's happened here. So Kraken's gone down from 30 to 24 points. That was basically because everyone was using everyone else. Martuk, Dooku, Freedom Bot, Trench. So Kraken wasn't getting a lot of love, so they decided to bring it down to 24 points. Next was the Munificent class comms frigate. That went down to 65 points. I'll just bring out what it was. I believe it was something or other. It's down points, I know that much. Arc News. So that was from 70 points down to 65 points. So again, with the other two Munificent frigates, you had your defensive retrofit. I believe the other one had a defensive retrofit. That's my logic in viewing this thing. Without defensive retrofit, like thermal shields on a Muni, it is absolutely disgusting. I hate thermal shields on a Muni. It just lives way too long, and that with Pedix as well is just an absolute disgusting thing to bring out. So the Munificent comms frigate not having that defensive retrofit was not surviving as long as much as wasn't giving love. So basically, again, it didn't have that durability, as this says by Nick here, so that's why they reduced it from 70 points down to 65 points. Next one up was the Belbalab. That was reduced down to 14 points. It was 15 down to 14. So just a little bit of a tweak on the Belbalab there. Again, generics not getting the great love they deserve in CIS, so that was reduced down to 1, from 15 down to 14, from 1 point down. Next up was the Republic. Republic didn't get a lot of changes ship-wise or anything else. It was just the squadrons got the change there. So Plo Koon now from 24 is now to 21. Again, Plo Koon Commander and others, the Yarks were more in line in what people were bringing. So Plo Koon Squadron wasn't getting a lot of love. Same with Lumi. Lumi is now 20 points from, it was 23 points down to 20 points. Again, Lumi Commander is way better to be used compared to Lumi Squadron. And again, as I said, the arcs were the ones where you're getting more the points where we use, or the Oh, starting to get a bit of a change here, but it's more the arcs were more the ones, and the other ones. Who are the other squadrons as well? Got to have a main brain fade when you're trying to do a talk casual. The V19s. The V19s were the ones that people were bringing more often. So the deltas weren't getting a lot of love there. So that's why they were reduced in points. I said Lumi Commander is way better than the squadron version, but reduced down to 20 points is probably better. And the Delta generic is now 15 compared to it was 17 points. So again, deltas weren't the deltas weren't really used a lot in squadron building. So that's what Arc has given to the point there. So if you want to have a read of what's happening there, the design notes that Arc has come up with, have a read, go to the Arc website. It gives you the good indications there, but these are the big changes, or the changes they've done here, and that will be the final changes before Worlds. So the Arc Worlds coming up in Adepticon in March. These will be the final changes, so that's it. So you can now play and change and go through what you want to do with your fleets there. Okay, so that was your major news from Arc about the changes there. I haven't had a proper look at myself. I haven't played since a while. Again, life has gotten in the way. But these changes are pretty well looked after, and the legacy stuff as well. I haven't really looked into legacy stuff. I would like to look into legacy stuff. It's just unfortunately, I haven't had the time to look for it there. Right, let's get on to the next big major news. And the big next tournament coming up here in Australia for us Aussies is Not Nationals at 2026. So instead of being at CanCon in January this year during the Australian Day weekend, unfortunately, the store that Jolt Games that we usually play is not available during that weekend. So we've moved it. So Jim has moved it from that Australia Day weekend to the 21st to the 22nd of February. So Jim, the good mate in Canberra, will be running that event. It is both an Arc Collective and an Armada Legacy event. So for those people who are playing the original stuff, you can kind of play it, but just a note that the Arc Collective and Armada Legacy rules will be in effect. So this will be at Jolt Games, and first day will be your 3-round tournament, I believe. Yes, 3-round tournament. Using the AMG tournament rules, and then the second day will be Who's the Boss. So make sure you support the Canberra guys. If you are available during that February weekend, head up to Canberra and make sure you join in at Not Nationals. I should be there. I'm 99.9% hoping to be there. I want to be streaming, and I want to be playing at the same time. So it's going to be really hard for me to figure out what I'm going to do, but hopefully I'll be able to do that too. So that is the main news that we're going to talk about today. Let's head on to the year it was, 2025. So let's start off with, first off, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to all of you guys. Merry Christmas to you guys. Hope you had a really good one. I should start off with that, but of course, let's talk about Armada. That's what we're really here about, guys. Let's start off with the first big event. That was the last major AMG tournament in Australia, and that was the last Grand Casual tournament at CanCon. So that was a big... and of course, we were there to broadcast that for you live on Fly Casual. And 15 players showed up on that one there. We just did we only did 3 days of one day of 3 rounds. And it was the last major event for AMG before in Australia, before, of course, the Worlds tournament. And 15 players who showed up, and Scott Bellamy took that and with a old rebel list of Wells as well. So look at it if you want to look at it there. So he took it out with the 2 pickles, so 2 MC80s, so command cruisers, one with Admiral Akbar, Ahsoka Tano, engine techs, electric countermeasures, leading shots, XI7s, turbolessers, home 1 total. The other one with Ray Antilles, so it was a command cruiser as well. Ray Antilles, engine techs, electric countermeasures, leading shots, XI7s, and Defiance total with 2 GR75s, one with parts resupply and comsets. Squadrons with Shara Bay, Tycho, and Tico coming at 399 points. So that took the day, went 3-0 with 25 tournament points. So it was a really good day of Armada there. You can check the replay out on Fly Casual, and it was a good way to bring out the AMG era of Armada in Australia. So I didn't play, of course. I was streaming the event. I did play the second day. I was playing Who's the Boss, because I wanted to play. Because that's the big thing for me. It was I either stream or play. I can't do both. But lucky for me, I got to play the second day. So I wanted to make sure that the stream got the love and attention it needed. But yeah, it was a really good day. It was really good to see all the Australian players, a lot of new players as well that showed up, and some of the regulars, of course. Andrew Bullen was there as well with his Rebel fleet. He was playing for a bit, but yeah, it was good to see some older players, actually some of the historic players, come through and actually play some of that. So yeah, it was good to see Scott, and Scott was all going on his way to Worlds as well. So we shared a room there, and we got to go to Worlds. And let's head over to Worlds. I'm not going to talk about too much about Worlds. Worlds wasn't the greatest experience for me. I was 113 for something like that. Again, I don't want to. It was probably the worst Worlds experience for me, but it wasn't. The Worlds event was great. It was fun. It was to be the last AMG Worlds, to go out with a bang, to be with everyone that you've met over the years, got to meet up, and this photo was probably the crux of my. It was basically the top highlight of the Worlds event, and that was getting to play with Ken from Iron Radio. For us to hang out and actually play not just one game, but 2 games. One game didn't record, and we get to test out his setup there. It was really good fun. I really enjoyed that. As I said, got to meet up with all the Armada players at Worlds. Got to hand out my Bluey cards, and everyone was really excited to actually get these cards and actually to meet up and go out drinking and have some fun. And it was a great meetup and a great event. Even if it was saying kind of goodbye to the official Worlds event. I know Arc have got their Worlds coming up right now in March. I'm still deciding if I want to go or not, because it's such a big event to go. It's a big commitment for me to go to play Armada these days. But for me, this Worlds was really special, just to meet up and got to play with Ken. And if you want to see it, head over to the Iron Radio channel and watch the game being played. As always, I'm constantly swearing, but that's the Grandmaster Assault coming out to play. But it was a really good event. I got to meet, of course, Robert from Recon Specialist, of course, Recon Painting. So it was, good to meet up with him. It's always good to meet up with my X-Wing, also the old X-Wing, the old guard X-Wing, Uncle Mark, Robert, and as I said, it was really good just to meet everyone around in the States and have a really good time. I really enjoy my time in the States, and apart from the political stuff that's happening at the moment, the people around there, people at the convention, the people there, it's a really nice place to be, and it felt lots of love, and don't take what's happening in the States right now, what is gospel right now. People are really not, like, at the convention, around the place. People I got to meet around was really good, really great place to be. And I'd do it again if I'm still on the fence right now about going on into next year, but we'll see. But it was really good fun. Next, a big event, of course, was the grand my baby, the Grand Casual. The Grand Casual for me was probably the biggest thing for me to do. I always wanted to run a major event in Melbourne. For some reason, we never got a nationals happening in Melbourne. We were about to get one, and of course, that got pulled under the rug. Understandably, that's okay. These things happen. But for me, I always wanted to have a major event in Melbourne for us Melbourne players to be proud of, and also to bring, other state players to our event. So I was really glad that I was really happy and thankful for not just, as I said, our players, but interstate players coming through. So a big thanks to Jim and the Canberra crew, so Sean, James, no, I'm going to forget names, and apologies. I'll get the names coming up very shortly. And then Ron from Brisbane coming all the way down to the freezing cold Melbourne day it was there. So here we are, a couple of 13 players showed up for the day. Here's the big reveal of all the players playing there. There's the Sean's pizza slice ISD of Pepper Sloney. It was I love that. It was a very great paint job on an ISD. As you can see, it was a great event. It was a really good turnout. I'll bring up the results. And here we go. So Leicester won the event with his Draven list. I know, Draven won Grand Casual, and that just shows how awesome. That's pure casual, fly casual. Just something jank winning my event. That sounds just awesome. And a big congrats to Leicester going undefeated. Oh no, he didn't undefeated. He won 2-1. Last game, James needed to win big. He didn't win big. He won 7-4. He needed an 8, I believe, just to pip Leicester, and needed a bigger MOV. So Leicester won 2-1, 2 10s, and a 4 on 24 tournament points with an MOV of 778 with his Draven list. So yes, Dan as well. Big thank for Dan as well. There's the other one that I was thinking. So yes, again, highly recommend watching the stream. Great games. As I said, Leicester winning with his Draven list. Second was James Steed with 23 points and an MOV of 335 points. Jim was third with his SSD with 21 tournament points and 488 points. James, and then rounding out the fourth place is James Ives, and another Draven list. Rod was Rod was fifth place. He was the other Draven list. So it's 2 Draven lists and coming in the top 5. Unbelievable. All right, so let's head back to the pictures here. As I said, this is the SSD versus Dan and his 2 VSDs and Interdictor. I highly approve people. And there's just not one Interdictor, there's two Interdictor lists. So highly approved anyone with an Interdictor list. And then that was Games of James, and I believe that was Andrew. So a really good phone out there. There was the 2 2 CIS lists. So James Steed versus I forgot, Hamish. That's it. It was Hamish who was battling there. Hamish versus James for the 2 CIS lists. A brutal matchup this one was. It was a massive slugfest going on there. I think it was the first round matchup, I believe. It was the first matchup. It was a 7-4 to James on that one there. And then, yep, there's there's Dan. This is round 2. So this is the 2 interdictor battles against James, Ives, and Dan. So James was running a interdictor. I think it was a combat refit on top of that too, with Archtons. So job well done there. Pretty good done there. There's Clint with his red dice shenanigan, Simon, or was it? I think it was Simon's against James Steed. Now there's Lester with his Lester was his this is Dan. It was Lester versus Andrew Bullen, and this was a bit of a slugfest with Draven. This is what's his Lee? Lee versus battling a Rebel fleet. Apologies there. And then this is round 3, but it looks like it was another. Oh yes, this is round 3. So this is definitely round 3. This is the last game where Lester versus James, where James needed to win big. So this is Hamish versus, but looks like Games of James. And it was Sean versus Hangry, by the looks of it. And of course, there's Clint and his red shenanigans there. So again, a beautiful day. As I said, great for those players to come down and enjoy the day. As I said, the second day we didn't have as much space as we wanted to, so I wanted to play Who's the Boss, and we didn't have the players as well too, so we reduced it down to sector battle fleets, so 200-point Armada games. And it was a good day. It was, again, a good weekend of Armada, and I really enjoyed how everyone had a good time. I always wanted to run this event down at Tez's, and it was a great day, first day for the locals and interstaters to come in, and as the second day was there for the interstaters to make a weekend of it. So so it was really well run. Things I'll do a bit differently next year. I'll probably actually run T4 and actually run it that way instead of doing the paper trail that I did before. But Andrew Bullen wanted the old Tessa experience, so I thought, why not? Next year I'll probably run it the old way, that the actual way that everyone wants to run it. So it was really well, as I said, really well enjoyed. For next year, we'll see if I want to run it next year. It all depends on people want to rerun the event there. And that was really it for. Oh, actually no. I lied. We had after that we had the Trans-Tasman. The Trans-Tasman was run. I'll bring up the Trans-Tasman. That was the final event for that was run by us. Maybe I should turn that off. Turn it off. There we go. Transfer to me. So the Trans-Tasman was run this year as well. My prime main event that I used to run for Australian New Zealand players, and it was a bit low on numbers this year. Only 10 players decided to fly to participate this year, and the winner was Andy. So Andy went 4-0 on the event there. Of course, second to Brickhouse, and then James Steed coming in third. Luke coming in ninth place. Actually won the door prize and won the Boba Fett the slave one, I think it was. I think it was the slave one. Or was it? I can't remember. It was a slave one. I remember that much. So yeah. Again, I couldn't. I wish I could have streamed more games for that one. I didn't even stream a game at all. I think I was. Unfortunately, my life has gone a bit different, and I'll be talking about that a little bit later on why that. Why things have been changing, and a big congrats to Andy going 4-0. So let's go through his list as well. So it was 2 ships. So it was Imperial 2 with Grand Admiral Thrawn, Captain Brunson, flight controllers, expanded hangar base, early warning systems, SW7 ion batteries, 7 Fleet Star Destroyer, Gladiator 1, Honda Honaka, projection experts, 7 Fleet Star Destroyer. Squadrons were Darth Vader, Colonel Jendon, Boba Fett, Marek Steele, 4 TIE Fighter squadrons, TIE Bomber squadron coming in at the squadron's 134 points, but a total of 392 points. I'll also bring up as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the list of the Draven list, because that should be from Grand Casual. That should be celebrated as well too, because let's bring it up here now. So apologies, Lester, you deserve for being the first Grand Casual winner. He won. His list was Never Expected Draven Inquisition. So his objectives were Advanced Gunnery, Abandoned Mining Facility, and Doom Station. And then he had a Nebulon B support frigate with Krista Agate, Turbo Laser Reroute Second Salvation title, then another Neb B with Ezra Bridger, Projection Expert, Dual Turbo Laser Turrets, and Redemption title. His flagship was a MC-80 assault cruiser with General Draven, Ray Antilles, Engineering Team, Electric Countermeasures, Reactive Gunnery, Leading Shots, Quad Battery Guns, and Defiance title. Squadrons were Shara Bay, Taiko Shelchu, Gold Squadron, 2 Lancer Pursuit Crafts, and Ketsu Ono coming at 400 points. And this one Grand Casual. Yeah. So job well done there for Lester there. And as I said, he made... And that's probably the one tip I give players playing Armada. Play what you want to play. Don't try to go for that meta list. If you have the drive and the passion and you practice and you know what you're doing with your list, you can win the day. And Lester has shown what he can do with Draven. People have told him he can do way better with other commanders, but it all depends on how you play it and how you see fit. So if you put the mind and effort, as Lester did, on what you want to play, what you want to feel is awesome and cool, you can do well. And take that. I hope people take that from what's happened here with Leicester's fleet. And for Draven to win this game, to win the event, as I said, it was a really good feeling. Good, as I said, for my tournament, the Grand Casual, I want it to be an event where people. It was a serious event. It was a premier event, but I want it to also have a bit of fun. So that's why the Grand Casual came from. Thanks to Jim for that one. And for this such a jank list, again, nothing against you there, Lester. You did really well. To win the event, I have to give my props to him, and job well done on that one. Back to the Trans-Tasman. As I said, Andy won that one with a Grand Admiral Thrawn list. Brookhouse came out second place with a Krista Agate list. So so the list was a Assault Frigate Mark II with Krista Agate, General Draven, Ruthless Strategist, Reinforced Blast Doors, XS9 Turbo Lasers, Gallant Haven title, Neb Support Frigate with Ahsoka Tano, Projection Experts, XS9s and Redemption, 2 GR75 mini transports, one with Torren Far, munitions resupply and Bright Hope, and then the other one with Adar Talon, parts resupply and boosted comms. Squadrons were 2 VCX freighters, Mart Matin, Rose Squadron, God Squadron, Ketsu Ono, Lando Calrissian, and a Y-Wing Squadron coming in at 389 points. In third place was a James with a CIS. He had a Munificent Star Frigate with Admiral Trench, Watt Temporal, Projection Experts, Thermal Shields, Point Defense Iron Cannons, Link Turbo Laser Towers. Another Muni with Rune Harko, Thermal Shields, Point Defense, and Link Turbo Laser Towers. A Recusant Light Destroyer with Tikis, Boarding Troopers, External Racks, Turbo Laser Reboot Circuits, and Patriots Fists. And a hard cell with pass-through supply beast of burden with no squadrons at 396 points. And there's as I said, the Muni Star Frigate is always going to be the one that comes out and is represented with projection experts and thermal shields and Pedics. Projection experts just even worse too. So if you start attacking in the Recusant or another Muni, if you can, it's just transfer shields. It's just absolutely disgusting. So that's why probably the Muni comms frigate needed a bit of a points reduction there. That's what you saw there. So that was the next big event. For me, it was the last event in the year. I did run a casual tournament in May, and that was it. Armada has become a little bit of a stale in our area. So what I'm going to talk about now, that was the year it was for us in Armada. For me at Fly Casual, would I like to have done a little bit more? Absolutely, 100%. I would have loved to have been doing a bit more with the game itself. And this is where it comes to, I'm going to start talking about what's going to happen next year in 2026. Are we finishing up with the channel? No, I'm not going to I'm not going to abandon the channel. I'm not going to close the channel. I'm not going to go away. Am I going to be doing content? No, I probably not. The only time I'm probably going to do content is when there will be an event somewhere and I'll be asked to stream it. And I'll probably do a talk casual here and there. Content will be limited. But the channel will not die. I will not just abandon the channel and leave it be. There will be maybe a update here and there. But unfortunately, tournaments in my local area have dried up. Events have dried up. I want to do the Grand Casual. I would just have to gauge player base and see if they want to do a Grand Casual. But tournaments have dried up. And the main reason for that is it's not the player base. I have nothing against the player base. They have, just like myself, we have lives. We have other commitments. We have jobs. We have families. And there's nothing against the player base, but I've been fighting upstream recently just to keep players playing Armada. And I've come to the point where I don't want to battle that upstream, but that I don't want to go battle the upstream go upstream and battle and try to create tournaments. It's come to a point where we get 3 players, 4 players if we're lucky, and we can play a tournament. And for me, I still love this game. I still love playing Armada, but for me, getting the other player, because Armada is a 2-player game. You can play with yourself. You can play AI or something like that. I know Kravitz got a good Armada AI tournament tool, but you need another player. And for me, I don't have that fight anymore to continue being that tournament organizer. If someone says, "Hey Mars, do you want to come and play?" I'll be 100% there if I've got the chance to. I just cannot. I don't have the willpower anymore. I still love this game. I still want to play it. I still, as I said, if someone wants me to come wherever around the world and say, "Hey Mars, I want you to come here and stream this game for me," I will be there. I love streaming still. I love still playing this game. But for me to continue trying to continue this community, for me, it's drained me a lot. The last several years, just to continue playing, trying to make tournaments happen, trying to fork out prize support. Again, I have nothing wrong with me forking out prize support. I will continue, giving prize support out when needed. But but for me, it's just come to a point where I've gone, I'm done with the tournament scene, with organising tournaments. I've taken up other responsibilities in my life, not just my family as well. I've also volunteering at a youth organisation. I've taken up more responsibilities there now, and that's taken the bulk of my time away from Armada. And that's life, unfortunately. I'm enjoying what I'm doing there right now, and next year will be taking more responsibility in that organisation. And for me, I'm more invested in doing that than working on trying to get players. Again, nothing against the player base. People move on. Ian has moved on. He's got his responsibilities. I've got my responsibilities. So does the player base as well. And to recruit new players to this game is probably one of the most hardest things to do when you're trying to tell them, good luck trying to find ships. And I know that. I know that I'm battling against upstream for it. I'm still trying to figure out if I want to go to Worlds this year. Not because I don't like the game. It's just more of, do I really want to take away time from other commitments that I've made? That's my main thing, and it is a big commitment against my family to be away from them to go to Worlds. What does this mean for you guys? I can say to you guys, continue playing the game. I will play the game. I still love the game, as I said before. Please don't stop because of... I don't think you're going to stop because of my account. Still continue watching. Go to Iron Radio. Go to Downsize. Listen to Coolant Discharge. Listen to all the Armada content that is available out there. And still enjoy the game. Still try to get in contact with players. Play the game. Even TTS. For me, people say, why don't you play TTS? I don't get me wrong. TTS is a great tool, but I like playing physical games. I like the models. I like rolling dice. For me, it is way better to do that. I like displaying my cards. I like showing my cards that I've collected throughout the years. I love the physical aspect of playing this game, and TTS is a great tool, especially when COVID did happen, and I believe it is a perfect tool for players who want to play, who can't play at a specific location or time, and they require a quick practice of a game. Again, nothing against it. I will most likely have to play sometime TTS, but again, if I had a choice between TTS and the real stuff, it's gonna be the real stuff. Always will be that way. So yeah, that is 2026 for me. As I said, I'm not abandoning this channel. I will continue on doing content when I can, but that content will be very rare. As I said, I'll hopefully take my streaming stuff to Not Nationals next year in February. But for me, it's more of, do I want to play or do I want to stream? Is my kind of guess of what I want to do. Same with Worlds. I'm still deciding, do I want to go and play at Worlds? And then after that, do I want to do Grand Casual? Again, it is Armada for me has taken the backseat to my main life, my personal life, and my other commitments that I've made now. As I said, I'm coming into next year will be a major step forward to what I'm going to do in my volunteer youth organization, and I want to do this. I want to do that. As I said, I still love Armada. I still love playing the game. I will still be there. And I said for you players, if you want a game with me, I'm more than happy to play with you. It's just finding that time to play. And also, I'm probably deciding to give up on tournament organisation for the in the Melbourne area, for the Melton area. That's where I'm kind of handing off. I hope that someone else might take it and decide to run events, but that's not going to be me. That's not going to be me. But if people want to do that one-off grand casual, I will do that. That's no dramas. But the monthly, bi-monthly tournaments, the Thursday nights, I just can't do it anymore. I just lost the will to do that. But this is not me giving up on the game. It's just me prioritizing on other things. And that's my piece there. As I said to you players, I want you to continue on. I want to continue on with this channel. I'm not giving up on this channel just yet. As I said, content might be a bit down, but I will still be here to comment on and maybe making some changes here or there. I think that's it for today, guys. I expected a couple more viewers, but unfortunately that wasn't going to be the case. I try to stream at different times. Again, for me to come up with a schedule and to stream stuff, it's really hard for me. Again, nothing against you guys, nothing against the player base. As I said, continue playing this game. I would love to play a game. But my life has taken a different turn, and this happens. It happens. So yeah. First off, I want to say thank you to all who joined me in this year for the Grand Casual, for all the players who I met at Worlds, who had a smile, who had a laugh, had a drink. That's what we play the game for. We don't play it for. Well, some play for the glory and the prizes and that, but I enjoy meeting up with you guys. I like making cards. I like having a laugh. It was always a great pleasure meeting you all and coming, and especially for you guys making the effort to come down to Melbourne to play. As I said, it was a great atmosphere, great event. I really enjoyed to create an event here in Melbourne, where it was, we didn't have to go to Canberra, we didn't have to go to Queensland, we didn't have to go to Adelaide. It was an event here for us Melbourne players, and to people come down. I was really grateful, and I wanted to make sure that all those players got something out of it. So I went big with all the prizes there. So a big thank you to all you players who did make the effort to come down here. I said thank you to all, to everyone who I met at Worlds. There is a message. Give me a sec. I'll have a read of that. Thank you. Cool. Whatever that's on. It's just some jank. Big thank you to all. As I said, keep playing this game. Love each other. Hope you had a happy Merry Christmas. Hope you got together. I would say hope you got some new spaceships, but of course AMG stripped at us from that. So I hope you got something nice. I hope you spent time with family. All the best in 2026, and I hope to see you across the board sometime and playing some games. As I said to you guys, keep playing, keep the faith. And I hope to see Armada continue on to further on. I will continue playing. I will kind of be in the background. I'll let others kind of jump in and do that for me. So I wish you all the very best the next year, and hopefully I will see you around. As I said, I will be at Not Nationals, hopefully. I'm 99% sure about that. But thank you so much, and as I said, this isn't goodbye. It's more of see you later. Okay? With all that, I'll say like, subscribe, follow us on the socials, and fly casual. See ya.